This summer we are digging our own swimming pond in the backyard. It started months ago by drawing up plans of what we had always dreamed about, followed by the tough decision to clear a couple trees to make room for it all. Then I started digging by first stripping off all the topsoil with my backhoe, and I saved it up in this great big huge pile here for later. Next came more heavy equipment. We dug the hole with a bulldozer, a mini excavator, and my backhoe, and we trucked it all off site with my 2 dump trucks. So now, as I like to say, we're all done but finishing, meaning the hole is dug, but I still have a lot of finish work to do in order to be ready for the concrete sidewalk that we're going to put around the entire perimeter of this pond. For example, I need to dig out another drainage tile that's in the bank, smooth up the banks, final grade the top, cut in a rock ledge to hold rock around the whole top, and then install my overflow pipe. Plus, you had a few questions that I need to answer right off the bat here, so I hope you'll stick around.
Dig Drive DIY!
So this is a great geological study. Is
that a rock there?
Blue clay. There's a rock that looks probably like a deposit, you know, like a glacial deposit. Here's a little layer of sand right here. This is pure sand out of nowhere.
And that's where, is it moist too?
Yeah, it's wet.
Yeah.
So there's water moving laterally in the, and then down here you got water coming in, seeping through the ground. And then below that, over here, blue clay. Look at this, blue clay. It's different than the brown clay. Oh, look at that. So interesting, the differences. This stuff here is super wet. Look at this layer.
That shows the blue over here where she's wet.
It's like rubbery.
Yes, it is.
It's super easy to dig, but this stuff turns to like concrete. So this is all just glacial till down here. See this blue smack over here, man? It's like real rubbery. Not all of it, but... So there is a wide variety of soil types and textures as you dig through the profile in this area. The clay layers that we have here have low permeability, meaning that they don't let water through them very well. The small sand and gravel pockets that you do discover are highly permeable, and they tend to be a collection point for the moisture and water that does make it through the clay layers. It just collects there and can't get out. That's why you'll find these pockets of water, even at shallow depths, they're trapped inside the clay. But as long as you don't have a big vein of sand or gravel that goes all the way through your pond area and it doesn't stop, then the clay that's around it, especially when compacted and smeared smooth, it'll generally hold water really well. I actually had some concerns about the bottommost layer that I uncovered as I got to the deep part of the pond, and I'm going to show you what I did to hopefully help that situation later on in the video. I messed up the audio from this shot, but the reason I filmed it was in an attempt to illustrate the overall depth here. It's hard to see it on camera sometimes, but the dozer is about 9 feet tall, and I had the hole in the bottom of the pond about 2 feet below the cab roof. So my goal was to have at least 10 feet of water at the deepest point. Now remember, I'm not worried about raising any fish in this pond, and I'll have more info in upcoming videos on how we plan to keep the water clean and fit for swimming. So more on that later. In the last video, I asked viewers to guess how many total loads we trucked out of the pond. Well, the GMC General had a flat tire on the biggest dig day, but over the course of the entire project, we hauled 28 loads out with it. Now the F750, it was a champ, and it worked the entire time without fail, and we hauled a total of 38 loads out with it. So the grand total of both trucks was 66 loads. I'm not sure who had the best guess, but thanks for playing along in the comments. I really appreciate all the comments. Remember though, that doesn't count the topsoil that's still here. So the total number of truckloads for the whole project is probably closer to 80 or 85. So now with a few questions answered, it's time to get back to the finishing work. Some of you noticed little pieces of plastic drainage tile or pipe falling into the truck in the last video, and yes, we chased that tile all the way across the pond. I need to dig it back out of the bank and then backfill and compact the trench full of clay in order to prevent this from being a potential leaking point on the pond. Once the tile was dug back a sufficient distance, I turned it up and I capped it off temporarily because I'm going to be using this later on as the outlet for my overflow pipe. Now I realize there are better ways to compact this trench, but I'm doing the best I can with what I have available. We've used this same method many times in the past, and with the type of clay we have, it always seems to work out just fine. Actually took a long time to pack this back in with a bucket, and I packed it only 5 or 6 inches at a time. So I'll continue to wheel pack it in with the backhoe on the bank, and after I've packed it down with the bucket and the backhoe, the cement truck will be here to be driving over this trench as well, and it'll get a ton of traffic right over the area of the bank, so I'm not worried about that leaking. All right, now it's time to pick back up where I did have some decent audio. So we're back on what hopes to be another full day on the pond build. I got some exciting news. I talked to my concrete guy, and he thinks he can show up this week, which means I've got a lot of prep work to get done. I've already been at it earlier this morning. I went ahead and I check graded around the top, and then I marked my sidewalk edge farther out, 3 feet out. I measured and put some flags down at 3 feet away from my concrete mark. That way I can start grading the top and get it close to on grade with the bulldozer first. And now, since I got the top and everything really close, I'm gonna go ahead and take everyone's favorite garden tractor around the top and get it smoothed up really nice so I can mark out the sidewalk for the last time and then start cutting the banks down on the inside of the pond relative to where the sidewalk's gonna be. So we'll go test my dozer skills again, but first, let's get Bruno out here. Okay, well I have graded down the top with Bruno in the grader box. They got a nice area for me to be able to go ahead and mark out where the sidewalk is going to be for sure. And what I had to do was mark the inside of the bank. I ran out of orange paint, so there's green paint on a lot of it. And what I'll do is I'll come with the dozer now on the inside of the bank and try to cut that down right at that inside mark. That'll give me a nice taper on the inside. I got to smooth up the inside bank, get it all kind of rolled to the bottom and grade it out. And then eventually, I got to cut a rock ledge in it. I'm going to try to do that with the dozer too, but let's see how this goes first, see if I can get the sides all slicked down and move to the bottom, and then we'll move on from there. All right, I kind of got the top all cut down and the sides are cut down a little bit. The last thing I need to do is cut in the rock ledge. Now this is something I never did too often. Paul, my boss when I was excavating, the person I learned from, he's the one that usually cut down the rock ledge, but I did it a little bit. Basically, we're gonna mark 7 feet down from the top. And if you tried to dump rock on here right now, it would just all fall to the bottom. So you gotta create a little bit of a ledge here. So I'm gonna take the dozer blade and angle it in and gouge that out right there at the 7 foot mark. And that'll make it so when the water comes up to the top, it'll have a nice rock, you know, protrusion around the whole top. That's the idea anyway. Once I get the rock ledge cut in and I'm done messing around generating dirt, then I'll grade the bottom up, try to get it all looking nice in the bottom and smooth. It's almost too dry. The dirt is really dried up and it's real crumbly. It's gonna make it real soupy when it gets wet, but for the most part, the base is all there. It's just these crumbs on top are gonna get wet. All right, it's looking pretty decent. I got a few things I got to clean up in the corners. These corners are always hard to get with the dozer. So the rock ledge is going to come around here like this and terminate right at the beach. So I need to dig this out a little bit, square it up. The top is not perfect and the rock ledge isn't perfect, but the nice thing is with the concrete on top and the rock coming up to it, you can but I'm going to try to use the excavator and dig out this corner here This corner down here was really tough with the dozer because it's a really tight corner and it started to get pretty steep. So that one was tough, but I like to leave a pretty good ridge down there. The other thing is I wound up cutting this out. I marked it at 7, but it wound up 8 by the time I slid down the bank. I was sliding pretty bad. Normally we go about 6, but I want it to be able to have rock showing even when the water level gets down pretty low. So I'm okay with it being deeper than normal because it's such a small pond that it won't really make that much of a difference in the amount of rock we need. But the main thing is the bank is pretty consistent all the way around. And like I said, once the concrete's on top, you'll be able to bring the rock up and make it, you know, have the right slope and meet the concrete all the way around. It'll look good, I hope. All right, I'll see if I can dip that out a little bit. Well, another day has came and went. I'm feeling good about the progress though. I got the top all done and graded off. We got the banks smoothed up. I got the rock ledge cut in, which was a huge accomplishment and something I was worried about. The only thing left is the overflow, and I got to cut out for the sidewalk between the garage approach and the patio area of the pond. So one more day and I'll have it. I'm gonna call my concrete guy and tell him we're ready to go. Okay, we'll see you on the next day. All right, back again on another night, and one of the last things I gotta do to finish up is get ready for concrete. We're gonna have sidewalk going from this garage patio area out to the patio around the pond. So I gotta get all this cut up. I've got my buried internet cable, Ethernet cable that goes out to the shop. I had to dig it up and find it manually, but I found that. Now I've gotta move all of these paver stones and get that river rock out of there. But concrete's coming soon, so I'm gonna get to that and see if I can get the girls to help. Okay, my concrete guy Jonas is here. You leave the truck run so you're in a hurry, huh? Is that your excuse to get going?
I'm hungry.
All right, well that was a big step to get that out of the way. We've been wanting to meet with the concrete guy for a while, and Jonas gave us some ideas on the concrete pier that we want to have. That's going to be pricey, but it's doable. It's going to take a little extra effort. I think it'll be fun to watch how that goes down. So, all right, the only thing left I have to do is the overflow, and then I'll be all done with the finishing. The next thing is concrete. So on to another day, which is right now. So I'm not real sure how this is gonna go. I got the dump truck down in here, but I'm not sure how it's gonna come out. But I wanna get this fluff picked up. This stuff is just too fluffy. Okay, I'm gonna see if this will come out of here.
And this would allow me to cover up that very spongy layer of gray clay you saw at the beginning. And I just feel better about the bottom that way if I could put in some better dirt. And then even with a quarter tank of fuel, the truck ran out from sitting at such a steep angle. The truck was completely dead, and the concrete guys were waiting on me to get out of the way, so I hooked up the dozer to the truck, pulled it out of the bottom with a chain, and then I had to prime it up to get it running again. I filled it up with fuel and hauled 2 more loads of the good stuff back into the bottom, and then I proceeded to knock it all down and grade it out with the dozer.
Oh boy. Well, that's the first rain we've had here. Okay, Kara says we gotta go. It's been a lot of late nights and early mornings. And well, the only thing I have left to do is to put in this overflow, and then we'll be on to concrete. All right, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna build a little bit of an anti-seep. We used to do this when I was digging ponds. We'd dig a trench underneath the pipe and kind of form up around the pipe, fill it full of sackcrete, and that is an attempt to try to keep it from leaking underneath the pipe. So if water creeps in under here, it'll hit the concrete and then not be able to go past it underneath. So we'll see. I'll show you when I get this dug out. Go ahead and line it up with that green mark. Make sure the end of it's lined up with the green mark. All right, so here's my little anti-seep trench that I dug out. Hopefully any water that comes in or tries to come in underneath the pipe will hit that concrete wall and not be able to seep through. I'm gonna make a little form out of dirt and go up over the pipe too. Go ahead and bring me like big chunks of dirt. Yeah. So that'll draw moisture as soon as it gets wet. That'll set up real nice. We just got to kind of get it backfilled so it doesn't disturb it real bad. All right, we've got our schedule 40. Up to here, I've dug down and found this tile that's running this way. So I'm just gonna bring the schedule 40 down to it and hook in, and hopefully that'll provide our overflow. Okay, we'll get this hooked up. I'm gonna get a stick of pipe in there. So I'm gonna use an internal flex coupler to go from the 4-inch schedule 40 to the flex perforated field drainage tile pipe. I've cut the tabs off so that it goes inside the schedule 40 real nice. It's a real snug fit. I'll tape that on. And then this side will click into the perforated flex tile. It'll be a good fit. A little glue on there. So now all I've got left is to put a little stone on my backflow pipe, and then we'll have that all done, and I'll be all done with the all done but finishing. All right, well, the overflow's in. That's all I really had to do to finish up my side of things. I guess now we're ready for concrete. They're already here started, but I'm gonna wait to show you that next week. Thanks so much for clicking on this video. I hope that you liked it. There's a lot more cool stuff to come. I'm looking at it right now, and if I'm lucky, I'll see you here next week. Thanks so much. Getting hooked on these sunflower seeds when there's a project like this just kind of gives you something to do while you're running, you know.